Imagine this scenario. You wake up totally exhausted, you're battling this dull lower back pain that just refuses to ease up, and you swallow your daily vitamin D pill. You think you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, right? But it seems to do, like, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's an incredibly frustrating cycle. You take the supplement, you wait for the energy to return, and your baseline just never shifts.
I see this constantly when auditing the modern health and biohacking space. Every guru treats health like this panicked, mechanical problem you have to aggressively solve with, more pills and sheer force. But in my family's Japanese heritage, health is approached very differently. It's a gentle, lifelong rhythm. You don't fight your body, you support it.
And that ancestral perspective aligns perfectly with the clinical reality. The fatigue or the aches you're experiencing right now, they aren't signs of a broken body. They're really just...
Right. So the mission for this deep dive is to explain the biological roadblocks that are rendering your supplement useless, and more importantly, how you can actually clear them out.
Exactly. And before we analyze the pill itself, we have to examine why your body's natural vitamin D production has changed over time. It all begins with your skin, which is actually a massive endocrine organ.
Oh, wow. So we usually treat the skin like just a wrapper, but it's really a hormone manufacturing plant.
It is. And the mechanism relies entirely on ultraviolet B light. When UVB photons hit your epidermis, it literally breaks a carbon bond in your cholesterol to manufacture free vitamin D3.
Okay, so the sun is the catalyst. But as we age, does the factory just run out of raw materials?
Precisely. As you get older, the baseline concentration of that precursor cholesterol drops significantly. So a 70-year-old will make only about 25% of the vitamin D that a 20-year-old makes with the exact same sun exposure.
Only 25%. I mean, that is a jarring evolutionary mismatch. Our ancestors were outdoors from dawn to dusk, and now we're stuck indoors behind, UVB blocking smart glass.
We really have removed the natural stimulus. And when your blood levels drop below 30 nanomoles per liter, your body initiates this state of biological triage. The parathyroid steals calcium directly from your bones just to keep your nervous system firing.
Wait, really? Your body actively cannibalizes its own skeleton just to keep the nerves communicating?
It has to. I mean, without calcium, neurons can't transmit signals. The body will sacrifice your long-term bone density every single time to ensure immediate survival.
Wow. So if our skin produces less raw material and the stakes are that high, swallowing a standard over-the-counter pill seems like the obvious fix. But why doesn't the body just absorb it?
Well, providing the raw material is only step one. Your liver and kidney enzymes actually have to chemically convert that raw supplement into its active steroid hormone form, which is called calcitriol.
Right, so it's like delivering a massive truckload of lumber to a construction site. The materials are all there to build a house, but the workers are on strike.
That's a fantastic analogy. The raw materials are there, but those enzymes are on strike because they absolutely require magnesium to function. Without magnesium binding to ATP, the enzymes are just totally paralyzed.
And looking at the data, isn't something like 40% of the US insufficient in magnesium?
Easily. So the vitamin G you're taking is essentially locked out. Taking it without magnesium is like having a pocket full of seeds, but absolutely no fertile soil to plant them in.
This is where I look to the parallels in nature. In human biology, iron sits at the center of our blood. But in plant biology, magnesium sits at the exact center of chlorophyll. So eating dark leafy greens gives us the exact soil we need.
Plant biology absolutely supports human physiology. Incorporating those magnesium-rich greens is non-negotiable.
Right.
But even with magnesium, the raw vitamin still faces a mechanical hurdle just getting out of your digestive tract.
Because vitamin D is fat-soluble, right? And the intestines are lined with this unstirred water layer.
Exactly. Fat and water repel each other.
Yeah.
So if you take your pill with just a cup of black coffee or plain water, it literally can't cross that mucosal barrier. It passes right through and is excreted.
What an incredible waste of a morning routine. So how do we actually get it across the water?
You take it with healthy fats. That triggers your gallbladder to release bile acids, which act kind of like a biological dish soap. They encapsulate the vitamin into a protective sphere called a micelle.
Ah, so it acts like a little transport vehicle to slip through the water.
Yes, and clinical studies show that this increases your absorption by 50%.
50% just from adding fat. So for practical heritage-based foods, we're talking about like avocados, walnuts, egg yolks, or fatty fish like salmon.
Perfect examples. Any of those will trigger the gallbladder beautifully.
Okay, so you've got the magnesium soil and the avocado transport vehicle. But what about timing? Because I've heard a lot of people say taking it at night ruins their sleep.
Well, timing matters immensely. Taking vitamin D late at night directly interferes with your sleep architecture.
Wait, how does a simple vitamin disrupt your sleep?
Because you have receptors in your brainstem that govern your circadian rhythms. Activating them at night sends a biochemical signal that the sun is high, which suppresses the pathway that makes melatonin.
That is mind-blowing. So you're basically tricking your internal clock and causing your own exhaustion. We just need to align it with our morning meal to match our natural rhythms, right?
Precisely. Synchronizing it with the morning sun sets the correct foundation. But what if you do all of this? The magnesium, the fats, the morning timing, and the heavy fatigue still persists.
Then we probably have to look at the medicine cabinet, right? I'm looking at this list of hidden blockers. For instance, statins inhibit cholesterol production. Since vitamin D is made from cholesterol, you're basically cutting off the supply chain.
You are. The factory is open, but no raw materials are being delivered. And then you have corticosteroids, like prednisone, which work differently. They aggressively upregulate an enzyme that destroys active vitamin D into waste.
Wow, so it just shreds it before you can even use it. What about thiazide diuretics for blood pressure?
Thiazide diuretics suppress the kidney's production of active vitamin D. And pharmaceutical weight loss drugs often block fat absorption entirely, meaning you can't create those cell transport vehicles we just talked about.
Got it. Now, I want to urgently step in here for anyone listening. If you are on a life-saving medication like a statin or a diuretic, please never just abandon your prescriptions.
Absolutely not. Discontinuing medications without clinical oversight is incredibly dangerous.
And don't just independently brute force massive doses of vitamins to try and push through these blocks either. You really have to partner with your physician, especially because genetics play a huge role too, right?
They do. Certain genetic variations, like the TACI and BSMI SNPs, can physically alter the shape of your vitamin D receptors. So the biological key just doesn't fit the lock.
Which is exactly why working with a doctor is non-negotiable. So let's summarize the protocol for everyone. First, ask your doctor for the 25-hydroxy vitamin D test to get a true baseline.
Right. And then choose D3 over D2 because it stays active in your system far longer. Take it in the morning with healthy fats and magnesium-rich greens.
And above all, have some patience, right? It's a gentle rhythm.
Exactly. It takes up to 10 weeks to saturate your tissues. And please do not exceed the safe upper limit of 4,000 IU daily unless prescribed. Otherwise, you risk hypercalcemia and really painful kidney stones.
Yeah, nobody wants that. It's about consistency, not forcing it.
Right. And I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. In our highly engineered era of smart glass, artificial lighting, and mineral-depleted food, are the persistent aches and fatigue we accept as getting older actually aging at all? Or are they just a quiet plea from your biology for a natural environment we've lost?
Wow, that really reframes everything. You can't just supplement your way out of a mismatched environment. If you found this practical approach helpful, please hit subscribe for more rhythm-restoring health insights. Stay vibrant.